Last time on Square Roots. Ain't no party like a Boyle Girl party, 'cause a Boyle Girl party ends in the death and or abduction of its hostesses. Later, the Lord Regent launches his own podcast and, wow, I Started the Rat Plague is number 2 on Spotify, right between Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson. Ugh, more evidence that cancel culture isn't real.
And welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
I feel like lots of parties end with death and or destruction. Destruction?
Abduction.
Johnny Havelock Brandon.
I'll have a lock, and I'll use it.
And whatever that means. And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa, and I'm concerned about the kinds of parties that Matt is going to.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And this is episode 5 of Dishonored. 5? 4? 4?
5? 4?
4, I believe.
4? Yeah, it's 4.
This is episode 4 in our Dishonored series.
4 of 6 and or 5, depending on what happens.
What?
Well, I was saying 6, 1 per DLC after this.
That's fine with me.
Matt was saying 5 because he wants to get it over with.
Well, I disagree with Matt.
Johnny'll never fucking finish it. Also, I don't...
You know what? Wait until the end of the episode when we talk about the next time on. We'll figure it out then.
Team Vanessa.
While we
yeah, what a shocker.
While we figure all that out, who has some hot gaming news to share with the listeners and the hosts?
I do.
Go ahead.
Wii U cult classic Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was the last big Nintendo release stuck on the Wii U, has finally been announced to come to Nintendo Switch next March.
Oh.
Ooh.
Everyone's so excited. It's kind of like a multiplayer Xenoblade, and with like custom characters, really hideous art, but it's cool. It's just it's not as it's more non-linear than the other Xenoblade games, less story focused.
Multiplayer, eh? Will it have online multiplayer support?
Yes.
What's it being re-released on?
Nintendo Switch.
Wow.
It's a Nintendo game.
They're still making games
not
for
3D,
that old hunk of junk, huh?
Not 3DS, and they haven't mentioned Switch 2 yet. It's not out on Alarmo.
You'd think Nintendo would have some kind of like PC platform to play old games on. You know what I mean? You would think they would have just bought some kind of emulator, privatized it, and be like, hey, this is how you can play all our old games, and then just monopolize that little market.
Pointless. They don't make PCs. They make Nintendos.
They could make software and sell software to play their old games.
They make more money with selling hardware.
For the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Man, what? They're just leaving so much passive income on the table.
I don't think you're wrong. I think make an emulator, put it on Steam, and sell your old games for $5 a pop. Honestly, I think that most people would go through and buy the Zeldas and Marios at the very least, if not everything else that they could get their hands on. That
they would never.
Imagine being able to buy like Chrono Trigger and them like doing quality of life updates to that kind of stuff.
Well,
like
you can get Chrono Trigger on Steam already.
I know. Oh, well, that's a bad example, I guess. But like, imagine if you could play like a. This game is so stupid. Blackthorn. And
well,
get
it would have to be
quality
stuff
of life
that they have
updates
the
on it.
rights to, though, right? Like,
that's a Blizzard.
Chrono Trigger.
First party Nintendo.
Blackthorn, and you can get Blackthorn on Steam already. It's on the the
Can you?
Blizzard Classics arcade collection.
Oh, what a blast from the past! I love
along with Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing.
Oh, remember Uniracers?
That's by the people that make Grand Theft
That's
Auto.
Rockstar, isn't it?
Yeah, that's DMA Designs / Rockstar
That game
North.
rips. I love Uniracers.
Rips a fart.
Anyway, I'm excited. I already own it once, so they're going to get my money again. And I still want to get, before I get that, I want to get Thousand Year Door and Brothership and I guess Super Mario RPG, even if I didn't really like that game. But I have a problem.
The remake is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else have hot Nintendo news?
Sure, I got some.
Or hot gaming news, I should say.
Everyone's favorite games are dating simulators, and the hottest new dating simulator couple just dropped. It's Rob Benedict and Ruth Connell are engaged.
Who are they?
Johnny, these are your former colleagues from Supernatural. One of them played God, and one of them played the Queen of Hell.
Oh.
What does that have to do with a video game?
The Supernatural game that Vanessa's working on, the FMV, like Choose Your Own Adventure.
The one where she plays every role.
It's highly conceptual, and it's going to be amazing. It doesn't have anything to do with gaming. I just want to tell Johnny.
I don't remember those. I remember God. He was that annoying character.
Do you remember Rowena, the redheaded lady?
Yeah, of course.
Scottish? That's her.
Yeah. Oh, she's the Queen of Hell? Or did she become
Yeah.
Queen of Hell at the end?
I think that's the end of the show. I guess spoiler for Supernatural. Bleep
Yeah.
that all out. Bleep the whole thing out.
I sure will. I'm not editing, but I
I
know
don't
Jim
want
or
you to
Matt
cut it
will.
out. I want you to bleep it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any hot gaming news. I mean, I guess the hottest gaming news of all is that by the time this episode comes out, Veilguard will have dropped.
Yay!
Vanessa, that's a day one play for you, right?
That's tricky because the day it's released is Halloween. I need to do my Halloween festivities first, and then if I have any spirit left in me, I'll play a little bit of the game. But it's absolutely a day 2 game. I am having a video game holiday. It's the first time I've ever consciously cleared my schedule so I could play a new release video game.
Jim does
Vanessa,
that like twice a year.
What do you do to prepare for like a day off video game day?
That's a great question.
First, she wakes up in the morning and makes sure that she completely empties her bowels so that she does not have to get up to poop during the day.
Yeah, I don't want to shit my pants out of excitement for the game. I guess I'll need to make sure that my household is in order before I start playing it. So I'll probably scoop the cat boxes and feed the
good
cat. I don't really have any special snacks or meals that I'm...
Oh, really? Ooh,
No.
I gotta have, like, I'm a snack guy. If I'm settling in for, like, a whole day of gaming, I want to have, like, it's just a thing that goes back to, like, my childhood. I gotta have some pizza rolls on hand. I gotta have some pizza rolls in the freezer to throw in the air fryer, because pizza rolls are good.
I can't, in complete confidence, say that I've ever had a pizza roll.
They're not
Oh,
worth
you're
your
missing
time.
out on a lot of potential diarrhea.
I feel like you should like craft yourself a Dragon Age themed charcuterie board.
That would be a great idea, too, if I wasn't so concerned with sodium these days. I'm not a
Gotta
young
keep that
woman.
BP in check.
I'm 25 now. I have to start being serious about... I can't just shove any old
That's
garbage
crazy. You
into
were
my
a teenager
head.
last week.
She grows
Time
up so
flies.
fast.
And we're all being aged by this election cycle, am I right?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
not do politics. I know that I'm usually leading the charge on talking about politics. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Matt's
Even
coworkers
though,
actually
this
started
episode
a new
drops the
podcast
day
called.
before election day in the
Oh my
United
gosh,
States.
it's election mania.
Okay, well,
And,
here's my one. Can I have one politics comment?
Yeah,
if
sure.
Kamala Harris loses, this podcast is over. I don't ever want to
Yeah,
see any again.
I don't know if that counts as vote buying, too.
It doesn't. Elon Musk is giving
Threaten
people
me.
$1 million a day. I could threaten to cancel my own podcast.
But wouldn't it be fucking hilarious if he did that and then Trump lost anyway? Holy cow. That would sustain me for a while.
Well, I
What
don't
happens
think
if
that he actually...
Matt and Paul start a new podcast called Paul-i-tics? Paul is Matt's coworker.
Pauly Shore already has a show called Paul-i-tics. That would be a blatant
Oh.
All right, we got to get off of this. Hey, I have some hot gaming news.
Okay.
Silent Hill 2 remake update. Did y'all hear about this?
Hey.
They shrank Maria's head.
What?
People were really concerned that she had too big of a head on release.
Were you?
No, I did not care, but there were people on Reddit who were like, she's playing in big head mode. It's like...
Could you also give her a
heads.
clean face? I want to see clean faces.
How big was it?
Not that big.
About the size of your head.
It looked normal.
No! Zing!
Big head mode. Well, I have to have a big head for my giant brain.
Did I hear you guys correct in saying that it's my weekend to edit?
No, it's my weekend.
Thank God. I feel like this one's going to go long. All right, in other hot gaming news. This is not news, really. The release date came out, so I guess that's the news. But I just learned about it. Y'all know who the next Mortal Kombat 1 guest character is?
Ooh, is it David Hasselhoff?
Is it
Is it
Pennywise
Jean-Claude
the
Van
dancing
Damme?
clown?
Close.
Ooh.
It's Ghostface from Scream.
I was
Oh.
the
So
closest.
dumb. That's so dumb.
That's so
just
dumb.
A guy.
It's just a guy with a
and
knife.
sometimes a lady.
Yeah, it should be Laurie Metcalf playing him.
Sometimes it's 3 people, which is
Laurie
just
Metcalf
God. Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah. Laurie,
from Roseanne.
yeah, she was the ghost face once.
Oh,
it
she
2?
was.
I think she was
yeah,
2.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Only
crazy.
Scream 1 is worth watching. All the other Screams are garbage.
How
No,
dare you?
I liked the reboot thing. I liked
With
that
Jack
one.
Quaid? We all love
With
Jack
Quaid,
here.
yeah, I like that one quite a bit.
I know. I remember when it came out and I saw it and you saw it and we talked about it and I thought it was one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life and you loved it. We never came to a resolution on that, but it is what it is. Does anybody else have any hot gaming news?
I actually do, and I'm serious
ahead.
this time. There's a new
Makes me
mount
think you're not
in...
serious.
I'm serious. There's a new mount in World of Warcraft, and people are having some controversy over it because this mount cost in real human United States dollars. Anyone see the price of this? Anyone want to take a guess?
$90.
$90.
Apparently, it's got some benefits though that you can't get with other mounts that make carrying supplies to raids or I don't know shit about World of Warcraft, but it takes out some logistics time that people had to bake into their playthrough.
Yeah,
so
it
a lot
has
of
like
people are
a little merchant, and you can access
Yes,
your mailbox
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, which I guess is a huge hassle to do if you're out in the field. So people are like, it's kind of worth it.
People are also speculating that it might appreciate in value because there's a limited number, and then I guess you can
Oh.
sell Warcraft stuff for real money.
Yeah.
So maybe that is part of the idea.
There's a whole marketplace for Team Fortress skins and World of Warcraft shit.
I mean, nothing makes me happier than the bizarre
Counter-Strike
economy
stuff.
of EVE Online and the fact that people pay their real world rent with it and shit.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Have you all ever thought about moving into full-time gaming in that way?
What do you
No.
mean?
I tried EVE Online once, and you know what? I'm not smart enough for that game. I'll admit it. I will admit it.
Becoming a grinder, just grinding away at shit. And...
Doesn't sound any better than my real job.
Yeah. And I don't think it comes with health benefits.
It's true.
I do have another piece of hot gaming news.
I'm listening.
PUBG Studios announced a new 5v5 shooter game.
What?
Currently known as Project Arc.
Interesting.
I mean, 5 players is the right number of players for us.
Well,
is all
that's
I'm
what I was
saying.
thinking. Because the 4 of us plus Paul, that's a full squad.
For me, what's so nice, what I like so much about PUBG is mostly like the gunplay. Like, I've gotten used to it. I like it. I think it's very good. I like that it doesn't have like aim assist and stuff. And so if they keep that, I would probably be pretty interested. But I don't really see anything for sure one way or the other, whether it's...
Well, here's why I like the sound of it.
it's
I'm
definitely
not very...
because this looks top down.
I'm not very good at PUBG. I mean, I'm all right.
I mean, you got
at
first place in a solo.
Yeah, I got first place in a solo once. I think against just bots, but maybe there was a human in there. And
There's always at least some humans.
Hey, chicken dinner's a chicken dinner.
That's true, be it grilled or fried. But with a brand new game to start like round 1, I could be the Paul. Like, I could be the ringer for this game. We don't know. Maybe I have the right set of skills and dedication and vision to like be, I'm not going to say squad captain, but like the one who comes through in a pinch, the one who will carry her team to a victory every time. The clutch, the anchor, the spearhead.
We understand what you're saying. I don't know why you're...
No. Are there any other words you want to use to describe what you're talking about?
This looks like it's a top-down shooter, which is interesting. So maybe it's a little easier than your PUBG, you know?
Wow.
Is it top-down or is it ISO?
Well, it looks kind of ISO, to be honest with you.
Nothing
Okay.
is ever top-down these days. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hotline Miami was top-down. Binding of Isaac was top-down.
It's true.
What about Vampire Survivor?
Yeah, that's top-down. Good job. Good job, Vanessa.
Wait, I proved myself wrong. This is terrible.
They did the
Anyway,
mash.
look
They
for
did
me,
the
the number 1
monster
streamer
mash.
of, what's it called again, this new PUBG?
It is called Project Arc.
Yeah, it's gonna be me, Project Arc, day 1. I don't think Johnny believes me.
Oh no! I just saw the actor at the Indiana Jones stunt show fail and get crushed by a boulder.
I'm glad you're paying attention to
funny.
what we're doing here for our podcast, Johnny.
Sorry, what were you talking about? PUBG?
Sounds bad.
He's fine.
Was he?
Yeah, he looks alright.
It's just like a little styrofoam ball or something.
Yeah.
I think someone did get hurt seriously there once, though. I don't remember. Anyway, any other hot gaming news?
I don't think so. I got nothing. But I've got some hot gaming plugs.
Oh.
Oh!
Hey, come check out the Square Roots YouTube page by searching for the Square Roots Podcast on YouTube. We are currently doing weekly, sometimes more than weekly, streams. We are currently playing Illusion of Gaia as our main game, but there's plenty of extras involved. I'm playing Silent Hill 2. Johnny and Vanessa have been playing a lot of Phasmophobia.
Which
Jim
people love. People
played-
just can't get enough of that. They aren't like, where's the RPGs and games we like? They're like,
Yeah.
we love ghost games.
Where are the entertaining games?
I would
Jim
say
played
that
something called
Phasmophobia
Bad
is...
Breath recently, I think.
No, I played Mouthwashing.
Oh, yeah. Phasmophobia is fun to play, maybe not fun to watch.
I would argue that it's not fun to play.
I think mouthwashing is one of my favorite games of the whole year.
Wow.
My top 5.
I think you wasted my time making me play that fucking Iron Lung game and then never recording with me.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's harsh.
Yeah,
You can still record it.
You're so busy. Go Matt. How do I nail you down for a recording?
It's true. Matt is lost in the world of the go-go 90s.
It is true. Well,
I like how high energy we are today.
yeah. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll be back this week with more Illusion of Gaia, so definitely hunt that down. It's on YouTube. We have a second thing to plug, and that is Johnny's new channel, Bears in Games Neo.
Yay! That's my channel.
Take it away, Johnny.
Well, I'm still working on those 2 videos, but I have tonight off. Maybe I'll put some time into getting one of them more towards done. I still have to record some more Leisure Suit Larry footage, but everyone loves Leisure Suit Larry.
People are so excited for that Leisure Suit Larry video, I gotta tell you. People are
Is
talking
people
and
Vanessa?
squawking. Yeah, it's me.
Yay!
Hey, that's just my kind of thing. I know a lot of times people are like, don't talk about queer history so much, talk about driving. I'm like, no, get those cars out of here. Beep beep, move along, give me the good stuff.
I also have to do a
agree
Bears
with
in
Vanessa.
Games about the gayest games ever made, and there's one called Vigilante. It was like a side-scrolling punch-em-up game back in the... It was released on Master System and TurboGrafx, and it was in the arcades. And that game just, like, a play mechanic is that guys have big junk, and you punch them in it. Like, the big boss just has this swinging dick bulge, the final boss. And you punch him in the swinging dick bulge, and that's how you
Cool.
win the game. So that's going... I'm going to make a short video. I've already captured footage for that one. Maybe I should just put it out.
Is punching men in the dick particularly gay?
No, but just the big bearish muscle bear types with huge bulges is.
Got it.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, so come in, join the fun. I'll see you know what, I'll try to get something at least half done tonight because I have the night off and I don't have to play Dishonored tonight like I did last night.
Don't you, though? Maybe you should just do the whole DLC while you're killing time.
Bite my butt.
Okay. And finally, we do have a Patreon, Square Roots Podcast /Patreon. And the reason I bring that up is because...
Not the URL. It's not squareroots.com/Patreon. Patreon.com/squarerootspodcast.
I wasn't watching a truck cut down a forest on my phone.
I'm not texting Julie about Danny Dyer.
I don't know who that is. Hey, we do have a Patreon, and the reason I bring that up is because we do have a vote currently live. It is ending this Friday from the date of the release of this episode, and we have a pretty tight race at this point. Your options were Tomb Raider, Longest Journey, Sea of Stars, or whatever I picked, Alan Wake. Sea of Stars has a lead right now at 36% of the vote, but Tomb Raider is coming in hot behind it at 26% of the vote. Longest Journey and Alan Wake are sitting at 19, so it looks like we've still got maybe 30 voters that have not voted, and I just want to say, get out there and vote. You know, maybe you can turn this thing around. We can play Tomb Raider instead of Sea of Stars. Or we can play Sea of Stars. I'll be happy to play any of them. I just, I like neck and neck votes. Just not ties. Just don't tie it. No ties.
Ties.
No,
No.
neckties.
Oh, bow ties only on boys that get vanished and die.
David!
Justice for David. Hashtag Justice for David. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to put my phone on the charger so that I can pay special attention.
Play
to the quest
what?
log.
What's that?
Sorry,
What's the
That's
Johnny.
the game you just played, Johnny.
Oh. Yeah, I played it.
It's
I,
about the
like,
game
oh,
that
we're
you
gonna talk about that.
supposedly finished.
I
Johnny.
just finished it.
Right. Yeah, it's an issue, listeners. Johnny sent us not even a screenshot, just like a picture he took of his phone of some YouTube
Of my
video
phone?
of the Dishonored
No,
credits, and he's
I
like,
took a picture of my TV with the Dishonored credits going on to prove.
Yeah, but when
that
I signed
had
on to the
finished
Xbox, it said you were on YouTube, and that's a fact.
it. But that was later. I was watching a video on the Xenoblade Chronicles X reveal.
if you
Why would I
finished
keep
the
watching it?
game, you would send us a screenshot from your game, not a picture that you took with
Well, I
your
did.
telephone.
I sent you screenshots of the ending. Remember, with like big beefy bear at the bar, and
I did a reverse image search of those screenshots, and they definitely exist elsewhere on the internet.
You definitely exist elsewhere on the internet, jerk.
If you played the game
Final
on
Fantasy VI
Xbox, I should
situation.
be able to open up my thing and see your recent activity and see what
Yeah.
trophies you got recently.
Yeah, check that out. Check out my trophies on your app. Let's see. Boop, boop.
Actually,
See.
I decided that I'm Team Johnny because I don't want to set this precedent of us checking up on each other like a bunch of fucking crazy partners.
Let's see.
I just want to see your phone. I just want to see your phone.
Recent activity. Phasmophobia.
What?
I'm looking on Steam. Did you play on Steam?
No, I played on Xbox.
Oh.
Huh. Well, okay, I am seeing that unlocked today is resolution you completed the game, but I don't know. I think it's some kind of trick.
Why would
That's
I
right,
trick
that's a
you?
poor
Fake
precedent to
news.
set.
Final Fantasy VI situation.
And that one didn't. I played on GVA, so that one didn't even have any achievements for me to unlock.
No
So I
cheevos?
can
I'll
never prove.
concede that
Yeah.
someone on Johnny's account unlocked the end of Dishonored achievement today.
Yay! I did it. I also want to see what happens if you take Lord Havelock to the tippy top of the lighthouse and then throw him off it. It was pretty funny.
That doesn't sound very like accidental Mr. Bean in the spirit of what you were.
I just want to show you this view, Mr. Havelock.
Deliberately murderous.
Mr.
We'll
Havelock,
get
I
to
just
that.
want you to view this scenery with me. Whoopsie.
Mr. Bean doesn't talk.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's like,
Talk.
He sort of like mutters.
yeah, he's like,
He talks like a sim.
Mr. Bean speaks Simlish. You heard it here first.
Mr. Bean, the original sim.
He is kind of a poorly programmed sim.
But we're not at the top of the lighthouse yet. We're in our little prison barrel or jug
Yeah,
or
spoilers,
vat.
Johnny. What happened last week, Vanessa?
Oh, well, last week we finally got rid of the Lord Regent himself.
Yeah.
Went back to the Hound's Pit to celebrate. Were poisoned by our very good friends and left for dead, floating on a plank in the flooded district.
Whoa.
At which point we were scooped up by some assassins and put into a barrel and or jug. Or like a vat kind of thing.
like a cistern.
I think-
Well, no, it's more. You're right. It's more of a vat. It looked like a brewery vat or something.
Yeah.
Oh, we had like one of those like brewing cistern
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. A brewing
I thought it was a
cistern vat jug.
toilet.
Anything can be
yeah.
a toilet, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. And I woke up in there, and there were some rats, and I was like, I'm going to possess you and see where I can go. And then I went down the hole in the middle.
I wish I would have thought to possess a rat. I was just like, I'm going to pick up these bricks and I guess throw them at the wood and see what happens. That's how you get out.
That's what I did too. It's pretty tedious. We don't have any of our equipment, but we do
Why
have
didn't you
our
possess a
magical
rat,
powers.
Vanessa?
Why didn't I possess a rat?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to explode it, Johnny. I'm not a monster.
They don't always explode. Vanessa's a pescatarian. She only possesses fish.
Yeah, that's
True.
true. I did get to possess a fish this time, so I was very happy.
So once we get out of this tank barrel face, we need to first find our equipment and then go after
This is
Dowd.
optional, by the way.
It is optional. Very
Finding your
interesting.
equipment is
Oh,
optional.
why would I not?
I mean, you
find my
essentially
equipment?
replace it. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
replace
you
it.
can pick up other stuff. You can get like the. Can't you get the crossbow thing from? Did you get all in like Dowd's area?
I'm not sure.
That's the beginning. I think you're thinking of the beginning of.
You can
the
find
DLC.
guns, but I don't think you can ever get another folding
Oh, you're
crossbow. But I did. So when you get out of the little cistern thing and go upstairs, there are like first you can find a sword. So I picked that up, and then you do have to fight a bunch of crows. And I'm sure Vanessa could tell you how to sneak out there without alerting them, but I could not figure out a way. So I just killed them, all 4 of them.
It's very tricky. You sort
Does
of
it count
have
as
to.
alerting them if you knock them out?
No, not if they
Oh,
don't
okay.
see you.
You have to notice you.
Yeah, what I did is I sort of stood at the bottom of the stairwell and possessed one of them and walked them over, choked them out, and then looked up and choked out the other one. But it was really tricky.
Yeah, possessing people is kind of the goat move in this game, I think. Once you get that human possession thing. Like, you can just possess a guard, walk him away from the other guards, kill him, possess the next guard.
It takes a lot of mana, so I think that you probably do need to be a little bit judicious with how often you use it.
That's true.
So the first thing we need to do is get our equipment back, and we get sort of the first look of the flooded district, which sucks. It's full of
why does it
weepers. It's full of
suck?
those things that spit acid at you.
The
It's-
flood mollusks. No, what are they called? Wall clorps.
River something?
Yeah.
River crust?
River crust, yeah. I learned that they don't like being shot, so I ended up shooting a lot of river crust this time.
Most things don't like being shot, I would say. I think the only thing that does like being shot is target. So you make your way towards where your equipment is, and there's just like, it's just like mucky and bad and gross here. And I feel like we're finally seeing the true effect of the rat plague on Dunwall, and it sucks. Like, this is uninhabitable area. We find our equipment in this very tall refinery, but we can't get in there right away. You have to power up this lever system that activates a staircase and pull the lever, and there's weepers all around. There's river crust, like spitting their spit at you. It's just a generally terrible time. But once you're inside, you make your way to the bottom of this refinery, and there you can get your equipment and also see a special old friend. Did any of you see your old
Yay!
friend down here? No.
The rats?
No, your special old friend down here is Overseer Campbell.
Oh,
From
I
our
missed
very
him.
first mission.
Oh, I did too.
If you
Why is he down
chose
here?
to... Yeah, he's down at the
He
bottom.
wouldn't be down here.
If you branded him instead of killing him, he was cast out. He becomes a weeper, and you can find him
Oh, I
wandering
did
around
see.
down here.
I did see someone dressed like him. I didn't go up and interact. There's also like, I think a gay couple that are were tossed down there with all the bodies, and they're like, one's fishing the other out of the water, and the other one's like, well, there's a chance I'll recover, right? And the other guy's like, no. It was real sad. You can talk to them. They're friendly NPCs.
Nice. I assume that there are some like subtle differences in these areas if you're low chaos versus high chaos.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe it's
yeah,
just
probably.
increased weepers or something like that. But definitely, like Campbell, if you killed him, will not be here because he did. You can find a letter that he wrote down there as well, and he's like, "Oh man, I can't believe I got branded on the face. I sure do hate Corvo. Oh, this sucks." Although how he knows Corvo did it, I'm not exactly sure. But he is sort of swearing his revenge. I don't think it worked out for him. I do think it is kind of like, if you choose to, a pretty fun move to spare him in the first mission, and then when you find him as a weeper, kill him down here. Be like, I just want you to suffer first.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty dark. I wonder if there's an achievement for that.
Maybe. There should
Vanessa's
be.
version of this game is so much more awful than mine, but I played the like quote unquote bad route.
What are you talking about? He's down there. Yeah, he has a new face brand, but he'll probably be okay when they come up with a cure for being a weeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like all the zombie movies when you're like, yeah, cure that monster with its guts hanging out and its jaw unhinged.
Oh, man, I
fine.
would hate to be a zombie and then be cured. That would be awful.
I think we said
So-
before that curing someone who's gone like to the rotting stage of zombies maybe not the best thing.
Yeah. But what if they're just like one of those nice fungus zombies from Last of Us? That would probably be okay.
That's even worse.
No, you could live as a fungus. Just mist yourself. Keep yourself moist and cool.
That'd be fun.
You'll be fresh and fun. A real fungi.
LOL.
So next we need to get to Dowd's base, but there's a locked door in between there and here. But it's pretty easy to get through. You just need to get the key off of one of these assassin types who is lurking around. Any of you have any trouble finding this key?
No.
No. Especially
Oh, good.
since, yeah, I did. I had a little bit of a gameplay issue here where I was climbing up on the rooftops and grabbing a key, but then I did choke someone out non-lethally. They might have taken a little tumble after.
A what?
A little tumble.
No.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're trying to be nonviolent, you do have to bear in mind that gravity exists.
Yeah, I guess you do have to think about where the person's gonna land. Like,
Yeah.
say a slanted roof.
Yeah, like a lot of the times for me, they land on my knife.
Oh no! Or you jump on their heads like a Mario.
Yeah. I thought there was a Koopa. That was a really terrible Mario impression.
It's a really
I
good joke, though.
thought there was a Koopa.
I thought he was a
no.
Koopa. That's how he sounds.
This is offensive to
Koopa.
all of our Italian listeners.
We love our
Not our
Italian.
best bit.
We love our Italian listeners.
So we
I
passed
don't know,
through the
Jim.
door.
I agree it's not our best bit, but should we be criticizing bits while they're happening? Like, at least let it organically
No,
flow.
I think that helps us. I think it.
That's
it
my
helps
job,
out.
Jim. I'm the curmudgeon of the group.
Yeah.
You're
How
the
about
yes and
building
man.
us up instead of tearing us down, you know?
Sorry.
Yeah, be a Harris, not a Trump.
Do
Damn
more.
it, I fell for
Do
it.
more really bad Italian impressions.
Okay, it's time.
Buca di
I
Beppa.
really
Maybe,
want me
maybe,
to. I
yeah,
sort of
maybe
don't want
insert
to.
some pasta references. or-
I like it to pizza.
Yeah, spaghetti carbonara.
Spaghetti carbonara.
I love spaghetti carbonara. I had some the other day and I really oughtn't have. I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk about diet so much. It's just on my mind. I don't actually think it's healthy to talk about diet or to assign virtue.
Yeah, suffer
to
in
food.
silence.
I will. I'll suffer in silence. So we pass through and we find a whole bunch of overseers, but
Whoa.
they're mostly dead and or dying.
This is cool in a comes back around kind of way that I guess I won't get into now, but this is neat. Like, you run into all these dead overseers.
Where I missed this. Where what happened?
You haven't gotten to it yet.
I finished the game.
There's more game!
Okay, well I still haven't. Oh, you mean wait? I thought you were saying right now you run into dead overseers.
Oh, you're saying that you missed the dead overseers, not
Oh, I don't
that
know
you
how that's
missed it coming
possible.
back
It's
around.
they're at the entrance. There's only one way
Yeah.
into this place.
Did you not notice these guys, like, crawling around and dying?
No.
Yeah, there's like a cutscene. They're like coughing and dying, and there's a shitload of overseer bodies all over the place.
I wonder. I must have taken a different way in,
Maybe you just didn't notice.
or it could be I
Yeah,
maybe
maybe you're
You
just Mr.
didn't
Bean
play
oblivious.
this part of the game.
did so.
Maybe whoever made that achievement on your account wasn't Johnny Brandon. Who else
How
has your login?
dare you.
Julio? It was Julio, wasn't
No,
it?
I'm not giving people
John
my login.
paid someone on Fiverr to play the last half of this game for him.
How dare you?
Maybe if you jump on top of my dresser, I'm going to launch you into the fucking sun. Stop it.
I wasn't going to launch on your dresser, boy. So, these overseers, they're dead and or dying. You can find notices on them, like orders to attack Dowd's encampment. And there's also, like, a scrawled little dying last words being like, we went through the door and then everybody killed us right away. They're all over the roofs. They're everywhere. This was a dumb idea.
Mm-hmm.
So now we know, I guess, to look out for some assassins in this next area.
I mean, you've
And
already
it
seen
is-
some of these crows, so it's not like it's a shocker.
Why are you calling them crows?
What are they called?
I don't know. I didn't think they were called crows.
Jim,
maybe
Johnny,
they
you
are.
want to weigh in here? Do these guys have names?
Bird boys.
That's not helpful.
I don't know. I didn't give them any names, or I didn't think they had names in my playthrough.
Do you think they're called the crows?
No, I don't. I don't know why they would be.
I think that you're confusing them, Matt, with Antivan crows from the Dragon Age series of games.
Maybe.
I mean, they sort of look like a crow. They have a gas mask.
They have the big dong masks.
Dong. I was thinking
Yeah.
more like a beak. I don't think crows are famously hung.
Yeah, crows have huge dicks.
What if they did, though? That would change everything.
It would.
Like, imagine looking out your window in the morning and there's just some crow hanging brain out there.
Yeah,
Google-
imagine feeling insecure because you saw a big crow outside your window.
Let me tell you, in the showers, the crow has the biggest. I don't want to say it, but everyone was out there congratulate. I can't do a good Donald Trump.
No, you're terrible at it. I did Google Dishonored crow, and it didn't bring anything up, so I guess I made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
okay, though.
Bird boys.
Crows
They
is a
turn
good name
into
for
a
them.
bunch
You're
of-
welcome.
Yeah, they turn into a bunch of birds.
He's a crower, not a shower.
Caw.
Good one.
So this area, I think, personally, for my playstyle, which is Ghosty Goody Girl, was one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult parts of the game, because these assassins are all over the place. They can and will occasionally teleport, and they like to hang out in little groups.
Yeah, it's part of their like path, so you can just sit and watch and figure it out. But I do feel like there are some spots with these guys that are like telegraphed, where that like one of them will teleport ahead of you, just where he can't see you, and then will teleport away and like never come back. Where it's like it's scripted. A few spots where they'll just pop in front of you to scare you.
I didn't pick up on that, but maybe that's because I was sneaking very slowly.
I realized that if you just kind of hang back and shoot them with arrows from far away, that makes them turn to ash when they die. As long as you headshot them, you can
Do
clear
they
most
notice
of
the
this map.
piles of ash, though?
No. Sometimes they'll notice because there is a noise when you hit them where they're like, "Ugh!" And sometimes they'll come running over and get all alerted, but then inevitably they just kind of wander off again. So I did find that I could just kind of hang out around the entrance and pick off most of the enemies on the map.
I alerted so many guards in the last 2 bits here.
I didn't. I
So did
wasn't
I.
worried about it
So
at this
did
point. I'm
I.
not playing for Ghost. What do I care
Yeah,
if
me
they
neither.
noticed me?
Yeah. And you can still do non-lethal, even if you alert a few guards.
Yeah. So we make our way inside this dilapidated building, and there's some more assassins inside, and here we find Matt's favorite part of the game, the thief Easter egg. Matt, as a huge thief fan, you talk about it all the time. Tell us about this Easter egg that you definitely would have spotted.
Well, obviously you steal his little pocket pouch. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sort of near the entrance, there is a young or novice assassin being trained in the ways of stealth. And some of the dialogue that his mentor uses is the same dialogue as the tutorial from Thief about staying in the shadows and moving around the room quietly.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Respecting their roots over at Dishonored Town.
Hell yeah.
So, we work our way through this building up to Dowd's office. And there we find Dowd sort of chatting with some of his assassin pals. It's an interesting office. You can see his sleeping area, and you can find
He's got a loft bed.
He has a loft bed.
I do love a loft bed.
His very secret diary.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think Dowd likes? If you read his very secret diary, he talks regretfully about killing the Empress. He's like, I thought this was just a job. I probably shouldn't have done this. I didn't understand the political and ethical repercussions.
I don't think that he misunderstood the
assassination.
ethical repercussions of murdering the Empress.
Yeah. I guess he didn't understand what chaos it would throw the world into.
Okay, so when you get to his office, you get 2 options. Well, like 2 ideas pop up. One is deal with him, confront him, and the other is don't let him see you, leave him unharmed, but like steal his book and his key or something.
Yeah.
I am assuming Vanessa did the latter.
I took his little coin purse when he wasn't looking.
And
He's
that's how
gonna
you
reach back
dealt
there
with
to pay
Dowd?
for something, and he's gonna be like, "Oh no!" Listen,
So how does that deal with Dowd?
I understand that he killed the Empress / mother of my child, but he feels bad about it, and the next time he goes to pay for something, he's gonna reach back to his little coin purse, and it's not gonna be there. He's
I
gonna
don't
be
understand
so
this.
embarrassed.
So first of all, I couldn't figure out how to get into his office without being noticed. I'm not good at this game, but I did get noticed, and then like had a 5-minute long fight with him. Lots of parrying and riposts and everything.
Yeah.
And then
He was like blinking all over the
yeah,
place.
and he like slows down time. And if you don't slow down time, you can't parry him. So you have to make sure you slow down time too. And then when I defeated him, he's like, "Okay, don't kill me. I'm gonna get out of your hair." Everything like fell apart for me after I assassinated the queen, and I just want to get out of here. And so I let him go. I did not kill him.
So did I.
Yeah, so there is, even if you fail, because I think that's a pretty difficult stealth task to go and pickpocket him.
It is, yeah. I did knock him out. Like, I took out his assassins one by one, and then I snuck up behind him and knocked him out, and you're allowed to do that and take his little pickpocket. I think I also read a tip where you can just possess one of the other assassins and use them to pickpocket Dowd, which I guess you can do when you're in a different body. I didn't realize that.
Yep. That makes sense. Okay. Because right when you get there, there's a guy a crow guy forms. And that's right. They're called crows. I'm not disagreeing with Matt on that one. So a crow guy forms and walks in, and that's what stopped because they were on like full alert for me. But when that it's like not a cutscene, but it happens, and then suddenly everyone stops looking for you.
interesting.
And I guess during that moment, you could easily have possessed the guy who's walking in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's also, during that run I did through the building where I didn't bother stealthing, there was like a crow taking lessons from like a master crow.
That's
Oh.
the thief Easter egg.
Oh, is that it? So how is that an Easter egg?
Because the dialogue is the same as in Thief.
Oh, I was definitely listening before.
Definitely listening and not just running past them.
Definitely listening to you.
You can get into Dowd's office sneaky. Above the doors, there are some open windows that you can blink
Oh,
onto.
are there? Oh, okay. Well, it's not a big deal. I still got
no
a
big deal.
non-lethal ending by just letting him go. I still don't see
Yeah.
how yours teaches him a lesson. He could have just dropped it. It doesn't
Okay.
make any sense.
Let me explain. Suppose he goes to buy himself an espresso or a sandwich, and he's probably going to be with one of his assassins, and he's the boss, so he's going to be like, I got yours, don't worry about it, order whatever you want. And then, when it comes time to pay, he's going to reach back for his little pocketbook, and it's not going to be there.
This is how Vanessa thinks we should deal with murderers in real life, by the way.
100%. Just a little bit of public embarrassment will set them on the straight and narrow.
Well, if you played this the right way, you get into like an epic sword fight with Dowd and defeat him, and then he teleports away, but you can find him like hanging out outside, huffing and puffing, and he's like, you could kill me if you want, but I don't think you should. But I did stab him right in his fucking face anyway, because fuck you, Dowd.
Wow. I mean, you could have just taken his little pocketbook.
No, that's unacceptable. Jimmy, what did you do?
He did what Johnny did.
Yeah, I let him go. I liked when you let him go, he's like, because he like gets downed, he's like all crouched, and he's like, well, I would understand if you want to kill me, just do whatever you're going to do. He's like, but you don't have to. And then I just blinked away, and after a few seconds, he just goes, unexpected. And then he blinks out, which I thought was a cool way to go.
The Empress is disappointed in all three of you, just so that we're on the same page.
The Empress is dead. The only way to tell if she's disappointed is to use that heart, and I bet none of you did.
She's watching you from heaven every move you make, Vanessa.
Did
Every
you
breath
use
you
a heart
take?
here? What did she have to say about Dowd? I don't
didn't use
like
the
this
heart.
guy. This guy is
wish I
a
had.
jerk. He
Yeah.
sucks.
This guy
Please
did me
stab
a
this man's
stab.
throat open.
Yeah. The world would be better without this guy.
Probably would.
So once we have Dowd's key, we can head into the sewer like a ninja turtle.
Soup, 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 soup. It's time to make a lovely soup for my best friend Granny. Soup, 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 slackjaw soup. It's time to have some lovely soup with my friend Granny.
It certainly is. We get down to the sewer and we find
Super.
one of Slackjaw's thugs sort of hanging out by this locked gate. And he's like, oh man, I sure am bleeding out. We got attacked by a whole bunch of rats. It was crazy. We found out who was like trying to mess up our business. We couldn't believe it. Slackjaw went...
Is this
deeper
the
in-
plot of the movie Willard?
I don't know. Yeah, Jim, tell us.
Isn't Willard like an outcast guy getting revenge with rats?
Yeah, isn't that Granny?
Yeah.
Granny Rags is like an immortal lady who sold her soul to the outsiders.
So I didn't get the, well, I could have been zipping by and didn't notice this guy bleeding out, or it could be because
Oh,
she'd
boy.
already, in mind, she already took care of like half his guys and gave them the plague. So there was no guys bleeding out?
Tonight's episode in Square Roots, Johnny doesn't remember the game he played today. Johnny,
I
this is a
do!
scripted event. There's no way around it.
I dodged all your scripted events. It's fine.
I mean, I guess if you, like, just go to the left instead of talking to him, then...
Yeah,
I think what probably happened is Johnny saw him from a distance, shot him in the head and killed him, and then he's like, yeah, got that enemy.
No, maybe Johnny was a little intoxicated last night and just barreling through everything.
So this guy tells us if we want the key, we have to go find Slackjaw. So we go deeper into the sewers, past some...
Supers?
Deeper into the supers, past some dead hoodlums and thugs. And we have to swim a little bit through a scary swim tunnel. I don't
Terrible.
like
Or you
this
can possess
kind
a
of
fish.
thing. Or you can possess a fish. And
Johnny,
then
is this
we
where you finally possessed a fish?
Yes.
How did that make
We
you feel?
finally find Slackjaw, and he is in some stocks, and he's about to become a stock for Granny Rag's special soup.
It's green and bubbly like a sewer, which means it looks delicious, I guess.
It does look pretty delicious. So,
Why does Granny
who
Rags
helped-
want to eat this man?
Vanessa, would this
Yeah.
count as a fatality if you helped Granny Rags?
You
Well, I
do have
didn't
to
know
kill
because-
him.
I did no such thing, but Matt, tell us about helping Granny
You
Rags.
do have to stab him.
Oh.
Well, he is in some stocks, and she asks you to collect some items, and it's like, oh, find a bone and throw it in my pot, which is a bathtub. And, like, you know, it's a few things that are around the area, like find some garbage and throw it in my soup. And then she says, all right, are you ready, Sonny? All right, are you ready, Sonny? Go cut that boy's throat.
Sound like that.
She did in my playthrough. I don't know, Johnny. I guess just I had a different experience than you, apparently.
Yeah,
Get-
didn't see the overseers, and
Get
Granny Rags,
them
I
out-
guess, sounded more like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Put
what
him
she
in my
sounds like.
soup.
Hot
Get-
gilf. Jim's hot
Get
gilf.
the meat for my soup, Sonny. Cut that boy. So I cut his throat, and she's like, great, thank you. Now drag his body over here and toss him in. I'm too old and frail.
I'm just a little old woman. Could you help Granny out? Jim, did you say no to Granny?
No, when I got to this point, I was like, I was doing a lot of mental math about which option is going to get me through this scene fast. and
Jim couldn't
at the
handle
end-
how hot Granny Rags was, and he had such
Yeah.
a boner. He's like, I got to end this fast, or I'm going to explode.
It was very clear to me that the path
explode.
of least and quickest resistance was to throw him in the pot and kill him.
Yeah, I did have to like shoot her a bunch, and I shouldn't have wasted all my trank darts when she was invincible, because then Slackjaw's like, just burn her cameo! Burn her cameo!
Yeah, you gotta throw her thing in the fireplace or whatever. Or the boiler or whatever. Furnace. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to think
you
of.
gotta throw her
Furnace.
cameo
So-
into the furnace.
For me, Granny Rags never knew I was here.
Oh.
I snuck in. I blinked past her, didn't even talk to her about her soup. Up to her bedroom. Got the cameo. Chucked it in the fire.
How did you know? How did you know the cameo would kill her?
Oh, that's a great question. I knew because I have played this game many times before.
Do you get the special birthday present if you do that, or do you guys miss out on those runes?
I got it.
You...
I got a birthday
Sorry,
present
go
from her.
Johnny.
She was so happy to see me. She's like, "Oh, my special boy, we finally get to see me." She was really happy to
My
see me.
special boy.
Yeah, I'm her special boy. I still.
I love
I
you,
haven't
Corvo.
been helping her at all. I didn't poison the howlers, or not the howlers, whatever they're called, Slackjaw's dudes. So
Bottle Street
the
gang,
Bottle
right?
Street gang, yeah. So she doesn't really even know me. She knows me as the guy she asked to get her gentleman callers to go away, and I never did it. So we ain't friends. So So I burnt her cameo. It's really tricky because as soon as you toss it in the fire, she
here we go.
teleports up there and gets all immortal and tries to kill you. So what I did is I stopped time, chucked it in the fire, and then blinked out of there. So when she appears in the room, I'm not even in there. She appeared in the room and she's like, "Oh, no, my cameo. Who could do such a thing?" And then I just snuck up behind her and choked her out. And then she had her nice little nap. I put her to bed. And I was like,
I shot her with a trank after I burnt her cameo.
yeah.
Does she
but if
die?
No, I just put her to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the cameo was what was making her immortal. And
Yeah.
so, from a certain point of view, you could say that I killed Granny Regs.
Oh, everybody
But-
dies eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Though I question the ethics of choking out an old woman. Like, are you sure she woke up from this?
Probably.
Yeah,
No, she
you left.
probably
Did you
needed
put
a
her like
nice
in her
nap.
bed? Did you like leave her in a comfy place?
Yeah, of course. I put her in her bed. I was like, tuck, tuck, tuck. Have a good night.
Did you
then I went
rescue
down.
Slackjaw?
I let him out. I was like, hey, bud.
Who the fuck are
sort of know
you?
each other. You sent those Pendletons to the mines or whatever, so here you go. I'll let you out. And he was happy about that.
Soup, soup, soup. I want to eat some soup.
So I got the key off of Granny Rag's body. If you make the soup, I assume she just gives it to you or something?
Yeah.
And it makes you invincible for the rest of the game.
Oh, nice.
And invisible. So actually, you
Yep.
can tear through the rest of the game on easy mode because nobody can see you or hurt you.
Yeah.
This is slanderous false information. I won't stand for it. Up in Granny Rag's little house, I guess you want to call it, there
There's a
is
shrine,
an
right?
outside her shrine. Yep, you can visit that, get some runes. And there's also some planks on the floor that you can smash, and there's a tube of rushing water under it. And if you jump in that tube, you can ride it like a water slide all the way back
That's
to
what
the
I did.
village
Russian
store.
water? There's a Russia in Dunwall?
I can see
Whoa.
from my house. Remember her?
I do remember
Didn't want to.
her.
I don't like to. You know?
Well, she is
I
like
don't
a
like to remember her.
yeah.
She's like a reality TV mom now. It's pathetic.
Oh,
She's the real Granny
She'll be the
Rag.
queen of next week.
If it was a question,
Yeah,
of
she'll be.
so
she'll be
is
head
there
of the
another way to
Department
do
of
it that
Education
doesn't
in
involve
January.
the Russian water? Vanessa?
there's some flowing water in this tube.
But I mean, is that the only way out? That's my question.
Oh, no, I assume you can go back the way you came in, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
Maybe that door locked behind you when you came through?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Why wouldn't you take the water slide? Who doesn't like a
Yeah.
water slide?
Everyone
yeah,
loves.
I totally took
oh,
the
well,
water
I mean,
slide.
water slides are terrifying and claustrophobic, and I hate them. But
Yeah. The last
You
time
know.
I went on one of those ones where you sit in a little raft and go down
Like a
that
tube?
way. And I thought it would be like a smooth, nice time. But the way water slides are constructed, there are seams because the tube segments have to be stuck together. And so I just felt like I was going along and it was like ba-bum, 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 ba-bum over these seams. I didn't
it was
enjoy
doing the drum solo from "In the Air Tonight."
It was EastEnders.
Oh.
Do, 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 do.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
All right, I think that's as much time as we can do that before Spotify kicks us off of Spotify.
Yeah, that's it for this episode.
Johnny, is your mom an EastEnders fan?
Yeah, my parents used to watch that when I was a kid.
Mine too. I hated it. I wanted to watch cartoons. And
Well,
watch Stupid EastEnders.
whenever that came on, I knew that Doctor Who was over. So no more Doctor Who.
It was time
It was EastEnders time.
Move on.
Mm-hmm.
So we make our way through the sewers. There's not very much left. I found some refugees, and I'm curious as to whether or not the High Chaos people found refugees down here as well.
I think I found people that I murdered.
Yeah, I found them. They were fine. I didn't murder them.
Why?
Why?
Because they're just civilians.
Yeah.
They have the
They're
plague.
not hostile.
Yeah, but we're
They don't
finding a
have the
cure.
plague.
We're gonna cure the
They're
plague.
potential spreaders of the plague.
The people I found did not have the plague. They were just ordinary,
Survivors,
healthy people.
yeah.
They'd made like a little tent village.
No,
In the
no,
sewer,
I don't remember this.
Yeah, I think this is one of those differences. So I think on Low
Yeah.
Chaos, you'll find people just kind of like hanging out and talking and surviving.
You find a bunch of
And-
people living in the sewer, bud. I got bad news for you. They've got the fucking plague, even if they don't know it yet.
Matt, they're just chuds.
So we finally find our way into this abandoned apartment and stumble across, drumroll, Cecilia. You guys remember Cecilia, right?
Yeah, of course I do. Cecilia, in my heart, go beating.
She was Emily's teacher, right?
No, she was just one of the other ones.
No,
she's
Cecilia.
the one that asked us to save her brother.
I think
something in
Vanessa's
the
mixed
first
up.
mission.
Cecilia's in the tower, isn't she?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the other
Which one is the one
No,
where the,
Callista's
like,
in the tower.
the crush
Oh, is it
Callista,
Callista's
you're
the
right.
teacher? Oh, okay, you're right. So Cecilia's,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Vanessa.
Which is the one in the jacket and the crush cap?
She's been
Is
around.
that Cecilia?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's in this little apartment. Actually, earlier in the game, she had told me that she had a contingency apartment and told me that the key for it was under her bed. And I did go steal that key and look around her contingency apartment. There wasn't really anything to see at that point. But I guess she had another key because she got in here. And she's like, "Hey, Corvo, super great to see you. Things are going pretty bad overall. All of the loyalist leaders, Martin, Havelock, and Pendleton, they left with Emily, and then the city guard came in, and they did start to kill everybody who was left under Havelock's orders. So that sucked. And I came over here to hide. And at this point, we exit this little building, which are like, oh, stay here. Big manly Corvo's gonna take care of everything, little lady. And we're finally back
He
at the
puts on his
house pit.
cowboy hat, and
Yeah.
his boots and his spurs.
He's
and
like,
his apple-bottom
"Wow,
jeans."
wow, it's Corvo. And the house pit is overrun by the city guard. They even have those tall boys.
Those fucking tall
walking
boys.
around.
This is a small area. You can't have tall boys here, game.
They're pretty hard to avoid.
They also, like, if you alert them, they, like, de-aggro in about
Yeah.
3.5 seconds.
I had the same experience as Jim here. Also, you run into Piero and
Piero,
Sokolov, and they're like, "Hey, we got this cool arc thing. Can you recharge it?"
Yeah.
But also we need a blueprint to finish it. And I tried getting the blueprint a few times without killing anybody, and I was just failing left and right. But then I was like, wait a minute, I can buy more sleep darts, because I was out of sleep darts a long time ago. I could buy more sleep darts from Piero. So I went back and did that, and then I was just like, John Wicking my way through that building. Everyone's just like, they called an alarm, and everyone ran in the door, and I just sleep darted them. It was amazing.
I had already killed everybody in the Hound's Pit pub and gotten the blueprint by the time I found Piero and Sokolov. So I was just kind of like, oh, well, here's your blueprint. Let's kill everyone.
Everyone?
Everyone!
I didn't kill anyone. I did knock out a lot of them. I got the blueprint and brought it back, and then Pierre's like, okay, so I have this new arc pylon. We can use it to either kill everyone, or we could put them to sleepy time and just make them all go sleepy by.
Such a cop-out.
So I told him to set arc pylon to sleepy by. You have to get a whale oil tank and sneak up there and install it on the roof. And
Vanessa,
then
I looked for an empty whale oil tank for like 45 minutes.
Don't you remember the tutorial at the very beginning of this game about whale oil tanks? And it told you...
I did this for a while, too. I was like, where am I going to find one of these? And I was like, oh, yeah.
You
there's
can
like a
just fill it
dispenser.
up.
I didn't know there was a dispenser there.
You did know that because we did this at the very beginning of the game.
That was a month ago.
Uh,
So much has
So,
happened in the past month.
I guess that's true.
The debate, that insane Madison Square Garden thing,
You're not even American. What are you talking about? Everyone knows you
the
don't
BC
care.
election, and their NDP won. They got their majority. It was close by like 40 votes, but it was real close.
Wow.
Yeah.
Japan had a change in leadership as well, unexpectedly.
We didn't get a change. They kept. It was
Right.
Yeah. It was a pretty tight election though. My MLA got replaced with a conservative one. Boo. Anyway, enough about politics. Paul's not here, so
Yeah.
we can't do the Paul-i-tics.
Paul-i-tics.
Yeah.
There's one thing
yeah.
I know about Paul is that he loves political talk. Can't get enough of it. Isn't that right, Matt?
Oh.
I don't know. Why are we talking about Paul on the show? He's not on the show.
He's
He's never been on the
sort of
show. He'll never be on the show. He's never listened to the show. He doesn't care about the show.
I consider him to be the silent fifth host of the show, don't you, Jim?
What's that?
Jim's like, who?
What's happening?
Matt's coworker. Paul.
Boss, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Matt's boss. Well, I got the plans and I gave it to Piero. I looked around for a whale oil thing for about 45 minutes, and then realized that. I looked it up actually. I googled it.
John, you must be the most patient guy in the world. You looked for something in a video game for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that.
I was I was in the sewers and everything, and
You were looking for it in the sewer.
well, I didn't know. I tried that building. You can't get into the building where Sokolov was held prisoner, and I was like, yeah, trying. So I had to Google it, and I felt very stupid that I didn't notice the
I'm sorry,
dispenser next to the recharger.
Teased you for it.
Mm-hmm.
So did you put them to sleep or did you put them to death?
Death,
Of course.
death.
Jim, what about Jim? Jim's the wild card here.
Which people are you talking about?
Everyone?
Did
In
you
the-
activate the
Oh,
arc pylon as a kill thing or as a sleepy boy thing?
As a kill thing.
Wow.
Why?
As a kill thing. I was like, how much more, I've been low chaos. I've gotten a low chaos rating all through this game.
Yeah.
Am I really going to ruin my playthrough now? Probably not.
Oh, so you think...
Might as well kill if I want to kill.
Yeah.
I feel like I did it. I got the good ending. Feel like I was a shoe-in at this point.
I guess if you're good for long enough, you are allowed to kill a few people.
The
Yeah.
problem with being the
Just like in real life.
Yeah. I look at Matthew Broderick.
The problem with being the high chaos guy is that I don't have I don't have anything interesting to say in these situations. Yeah, I killed everybody. They're all dead. I went through and killed a bunch of them, and then I killed the rest.
In addition to taking care of all of the guards around here, we need to figure out where Emily has been taken. And if you go to Corvo's room, there's a note from her being like, "Dear Corvo, Admiral says I have to go to this lighthouse now. Also, please find Callista, my very best friend, and make sure she's okay. I love her."
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, Daddy. XOXO. So, Callista's fate depends on whether or not you saved her uncle, who was the guy who was meeting with Campbell that Campbell tried to kill. If you save him, you can find orders on the side of the Hound's Pit that said, "Oh yeah, this guy, he said take care of everyone except let Callista go, like, just quietly to the tower and leave her alone. He says she's not involved in this." But, and the guard here, I think they're operating on the belief that these people had kidnapped Emily and Havelock saved her. If you didn't save him, then Callista is dead, along with Lydia, the maid, and also the right-hand man guy of Lord Pendleton.
Wallace?
Who was... yeah, Wallace, who was a Johnny boyfriend.
No, not really.
All right, well...
Vanessa's like the worst guesser at the worst person to point at like who's a Johnny boyfriend and who's not.
That's
It's
not
true.
true. I used to be the worst guesser. Now I sometimes get it right.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny's not that much better at guessing Vanessa boyfriends.
I'm
just,
perfect.
That's true.
I'm
you guys
never
are really
wrong.
bad. You guys are each really bad at guessing potential partners for each other.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
The thing with Johnny is, he'll tell me I'm in love with someone, and I'm pretty easygoing, so I'm like, oh, okay, Paul Williams from Taskmaster New Zealand's my ideal man, sure. You got it.
It seems like a Vanessa boyfriend. It seems perfect, really. Let's find out if he's good at close-up magic.
Oh, I bet he is. I know he can tap dance, and that is pretty close to close-up magic. It's the close-up magic of the
Wait,
thief.
does that mean Harry Anderson's a Vanessa boyfriend? He was like
Harry Anderson?
Yeah, he was like a
From the movie It?
yeah, and from Night Court.
Night Court.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in It too.
Okay, well,
I know.
I'll tell you what. I bet John was thinking of Night Court and not It.
Oh.
But he like
I
grew
thought
up
he
as
was
a
talking
con
about
artist.
Harry Henderson, like from Harry and the Hendersons.
No.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a Johnny
Harry
boyfriend.
Anderson, the Night Court guy.
Harry
is
is
Harry
in the
Henderson
Yeti?
a Johnny boyfriend?
Yeah,
For
the
sure.
Bigfoot.
We all know Johnny's
the
a furry.
Sasquatch.
Yeah. He's no Kamari.
I want
Mark
to get
was
back to this
beefy.
question if Harry Anderson is a Vanessa boyfriend, because I think he is.
Yeah.
I have never seen Night Court, and yet I am aware of this character, and I suspect that he would be had I seen Night Court. But I am, of course...
He's kind of like, who's that nerd you guys, that YouTube nerd you guys like?
Oh, floppy
Brian
haired boy.
David Gilbert.
He's like a Brian David Gilbert, that nerd. He's like an 80s version of that nerd.
And, well, he used to
That
be
does
like
sound
before he
pretty
got on
good.
Night Court. His whole shtick was close-up magic, and he used to be like a pickpocket and a con artist when he was a teenager. So he like has that kind of
Wasn't
rough
he-
background.
Ooh.
Wasn't he a stand-up comedian? Wasn't he the stand-up guy in It? Beep Richie?
Yes, yeah.
Who did like the fucking worst stand-up you've ever heard in your life in that show? Oh, his jokes are terrible.
I love Harry Anderson. Is what I'm saying. He's a great guy.
I should rewatch Night Court, is what I've taken
Yeah.
away from this.
I have the
should
first 3
first
seasons
watch
on
Night Court.
on DVD.
Didn't they reboot it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have not watched
Yeah,
the new one.
it's on. It's airing right now, isn't it?
probably.
What is it about? Is it like a magistrate court?
It's
It's a court.
yeah, it's like an overflow court, especially for people who work nights and stuff. So they deal with a lot of petty theft and prostitution.
Prostitutes.
and
Or
stuff.
are they just like setting bail and things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like arraignments.
Yeah,
I'm sure
okay.
that they have some, like, because it's a TV show, I'm sure they have some, like, cases, like, murderers and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It never gets super serious. It's a
Well, that's
comedy
true.
show.
Now, is Bull a Johnny boyfriend? I bet.
As a
yes.
kid, yes. As a kid, like, didn't understand it, but loved Bull. Definitely my
So,
favorite character on the show.
If Callista's alive, she will be up in Emily's room in the tower. And you
She
just
was
have to go
alive for
knock
me.
on- Yeah, me too.
She was dead for me. In
Oh,
fact,
no.
I wasn't sure she was dead after I did the arc pylon, and I, like, reloaded a save and went and checked and realized that the body was there either way, and then loaded up my old save where I had already killed everybody.
Aw. Was she alive for you, Jim?
Yeah, she was alive. She's like, I didn't know what they were going to do to you. I'm so sorry. And then I was like, I don't care about what you're saying. How do I finish this level?
And how you finish the level is you have to set off a flare from Emily's tower to summon Samuel, the boatman.
Old Sammy.
Best friend.
Our best friend who did poison us, but only halfway, so it's okay.
But, like, a little.
Yeah, just a little.
Whose friends haven't poisoned them a little? I know mine
You know
have.
what? Absolutely.
I've probably poisoned myself more than any friend ever could.
So from
I
reading,
take that as a challenge, my friends. I take that as a challenge.
was it Ian or Owen that was messaging you about how things come back around on High Chaos Run with Samuel? I want to know what happened there. And Matt was setting something up. Well, what happened, Matt? What happened?
Well, old Sammy takes us to the lighthouse.
Mhm.
And then when we get there, he's like, hey, Corvo, I just want you to know, all these guys are real pieces of shit. But you're also a real piece of shit, and I've alerted the guards that you're coming. Or no,
Oh.
these guys are all real pieces of shit. But you're also a real piece of shit, so I'm dropping you off, and then I'm letting everybody know you're coming. And guess what
Wow.
option you have here?
No.
That's right, I stabbed him in his fucking face! Fuck you, traitor!
Wow.
I am
your
avenging
best
my wife and
friend.
saving my daughter.
My
Okay,
wife.
first of all, she was not your wife. She
My
was
wife?
your lover.
Way
You don't
hot.
know.
Don't try to rise through the ranks and act like you were the prince consort. No. You're a bodyguard.
Yep. And I will always love
you.
Corvo.
Oh,
I will
So how did this work?
always
Did it, like-
love Corvo.
Give you a dialogue option like stab
No.
Samuel, no stab
No.
Samuel?
The dialogue ended and I stabbed him.
I see. So you just gambled on him being non-essential now.
I guess I didn't really. I knew it was the last level of the game. I don't know. I've played this game before, so I knew what was going to happen here. I killed him.
This is your first High Chaos run, though, right?
Yeah, but still, what's it going to do? Be like, game over.
It might.
Yeah,
Worst
that's
case
true.
scenario, I reload the autosave that just happened. It's not a big deal.
I wish it had just been like game over.
Yeah, you just got a splash screen that said, fuck you.
This fucking boatman is so essential to the game that if you kill him, game over.
Yeah, you kill him, game over. That's called the boatman ending.
Yeah. And it deletes your saves so you can never go back again.
Matt did a speed run boatman percent.
I actually, fuck this guy. You know, like I get that I don't know. Again, your actions were not less morally fucking better than mine. You gave a woman to you turned a woman into a sex slave.
You don't know that they had sex.
You branded a man on the face and then he ended up a fucking weeper. Like,
Okay,
none of
yes.
your fucking choices were better. The only thing that was better is that your pristine little hands were a little more clean. Horse shit. You were just as culpable. In a court of law,
Is this
you
Matt's
would be
villain
found
speech?
guilty.
Matt sounds like Donald Trump talking about dictators. You know what? Our hands aren't any cleaner. Americans got blood on their hands.
So why try?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is selling a woman into sex slavery better than killing her?
Okay.
I don't know.
I
don't know, but I bet there are a lot of people out there. Some people are saying, a lot of people are saying that it's not any
You know what?
better.
Maybe that should be our next Patreon vote.
What?
whether or not
Excuse
to
me?
kill a
Whether or
woman
not
or sell her into
Giving
sex
someone
slavery.
into sex slavery is better than killing them.
I don't know. If the,
Patrons, you can sign up at squareroots.com/Patreon podcast.
I'm uncomfortable with that vote, Jim.
yeah, I don't know that I want to know how some of our patrons would vote in that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All I'll say is that canonically, I don't have any evidence that they had sex.
Samuel and Corvo?
What kind of
I'm
evidence
confused.
would you need?
Wait, who's having sex with who?
Samuel and Corvo.
Okay,
So-
fine. You got me. I don't have any evidence that Samuel and Corvo weren't having sex, so potentially Corvo/me murdered my lover.
You know, at the very least, that Samuel is like jacking off up and down that boat. That's all he does.
Just up and down the river jerking it.
Yeah.
Just
Did y'all ever notice that Samuel seems to live like under an overturned boat in the yard?
Yeah.
That's a little weird, right? There's a
Is
whole
it?
pub there. There's a
what are you
whole,
trying
like,
to say about my
building.
house?
Yeah, there's a lot of empty space in that pub.
Yeah. There's a whole room with like bunk beds that are not all
Yeah.
occupied.
Sleep in a booth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess
Although it would be great if there was a booth and he built a little tent in it and it just said Samuel's house.
I would love that.
Yeah, right. With Lord Pendleton there. Like,
Yeah,
"Servants
that's
sleep
true.
outside.
Yeah.
That guy's a piece of shit.
I hope
He
nothing
deserves
bad
the
happens
murder
to
I'm about
Lord,
to give him.
Lord Pendleton.
Yeah.
Huh.
So in the
Oh, is Johnny about to be surprised by things
yeah,
that definitely
Johnny's gonna
happened
be
in the game
very
again?
Surprised.
Johnny
Wait.
didn't finish this game.
No,
That's-
high chaos and low chaos are very, very different.
Yeah, that is not what happened on my run.
So, for me, Samuel is like, Corvo,
Whoop on.
I know, like, you have had to make a lot of choices, and I just want to say you're the most special, best Corvo boy in the whole world. I can't believe how good you are and amazing you are, and it's been an honor to serve with you, and I'm not going to tell anybody that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Well, congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. So now we have to get into this lighthouse and make our way to the top of it. How did you get into the lighthouse, Jim? I want to hear from Jim Banks. Jim, I'm calling on you. Rack your memory. Think so hard.
What are the options again?
If I list the options, you're just going to pick one and claim that's the one that you
No,
did.
I'm trying to remember. I definitely finished the game,
I guess they
but I don't remember how I got into the lighthouse.
Let me check my Steam account real quick and see what it says about Jim Banks.
It's on there.
That's a thing we do now.
we check up on each other. Hey, that's the new America. Just neighbor snitching on neighbor.
That's right.
You can sort of go underneath and make your way in that way, although there are some arc pylons down there. You can possess some guards to walk through the walls of light that are around.
I didn't do that.
I think you can go around to one side of it and there's like an open window that you can get in through. I mean,
I don't remember.
Alright.
Wait, I went through. There's that little tube in the middle with the water coming out between the beach entrance and the other entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through the tube because of course I would.
I also went through the tube.
But the tube does not, unless you have a key, you can't get inside. So you do have to just shut off the electro gates in the meantime. So I did that. I got a little bit spotted as I shut off the wall light, but that's okay. I just there's a million places to hide right after that. So I just hid. Yeah.
I lured the guards to me one at a time and by possessing them, and then killed them. And I killed my way up into the compound.
So on low chaos, it's pretty straightforward. You just have a few guards in between you and the top of the lighthouse, and you have to make your way through there. But on high chaos, Matt, it's very different. Can you please tell us about what you find in the courtyard on high chaos?
Okay, so I'm having a hard time remembering their names. Havelock is the main guy, right? And there's the overseer.
Martin,
what's his name? Martin.
Yeah,
Martin
and Pendleton.
And Pendleton. Martin is kind of out in the courtyard on like a little stage, and he is shooting at Pendleton, who is holed up in like a tower, but it has like a big hole blown in it.
Why is he
shooting
him?
They hate each other, and they want to kill each other.
Wow.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you guys had these options, but obviously I had the options to go and pick them off one by one.
Mm-hmm. Like a Batman?
Like a Batman. Mm-hmm. I killed Pendleton first by teleporting up into his little tower and killing him and his little body man that was with him. And then I went back down and got up behind Martin and killed him. At this point, I had alerted basically all the guards. And this is when I decided to just use my whole fucking arsenal. All
you
my
finally
exploding
get
bullets.
some use out of those spring
my
razors?
Incendiary bolts. Oh, I did. I sure fucking did. I laid spring razors down around me. I threw grenades, and I just kind of sat back and fucking exploded bodies until everybody was dead. Eventually, the guards stopped coming. Everybody in the fucking compound was dead. It was great. Now, I had gotten a little impatient at this point. Like, I was ready to end this game. As much fun as it is, I'm high chaos. Who cares? What difference does it make? And you know what? I was right to do it. It was a lot of fun. Those exploding bullets are pretty entertaining. The spring razors are pretty entertaining. The grenades are grenades. And yeah, I killed literally everybody. And then it was an empty level, and I wandered around. There were a couple of guys left like in like little cubbies and stuff where I guess they didn't hear what was going on. But I just killed them. Like, who cares? I'm not alerting the guards. And nobody's coming to their rescue when I pop around the corner and shoot them in the face.
I will say one thing I appreciate about these levels very, very much is there's no instances of infinitely spawning guards or like a spawn in of people who weren't there before. I think that whoever is there when the level loads is who's there. So you can empty it out and just have a nice stroll around.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, after I got through that big area with all the guards, I just made a beeline for the exit. There was a wall, or not a wall light, one of those pylons. And I used a bunch of my tranks on some guys before the pylons. And then I just went under I didn't even have to turn off the pylon. I just went under it. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Why would they put this big walkway under the one security screening thing to get to the final tower? I don't know. But I just, took the walkway, and then I walked up to the stairs with all the guards in front of the elevator, and I just went like, blap, blap, blap with my trank gun. I was like, oh, I only have 3 bolts left. And I took the elevator up, and then there's 2 guards outside the very tippy top of the lighthouse, and then I took those guys out with tranks. I had 1 dart left, and it was just enough for Havelock. But we'll get there.
Yeah. In Low Chaos, Havelock is inside the sort of conference room at the top of the lighthouse, and he's having a very special conference with his co-conspirators, and they are all, I guess, technically dead around the table. So it is implied that, well, I guess Havelock actually says it if you take the time to listen to his rambling as he's wandering, muttering around, that Havelock just killed everyone who was in the conspiracy with him. He killed Martin.
Wow, that's convenient.
He killed Pendleton. He probably killed some other people too, and he's just like, well, these guys really, like, in the end, they sucked. I don't think that they're good for the future of Dunwall. So
I really like how this is laid
them.
out, because you get to outside the door and you hear him giving a speech. He's like, well, I guess, it's just you left, and, I know you don't have much to say about this. And then you walk in, you just see Pendleton and Martin face down in their soup. I guess he poisoned them. And that's how then if you walk up and talk, like, right away I just shot him. But I went back to sort of see what other options you could have. He's like, "We best take me to Coldwater Prison. Here, the key for Emily's room's right there." But if you pick up the key without doing anything to him, he calls the guards and attacks you.
Oh, that sucks. Rude.
Yeah. So you're better
yeah,
off just shooting him.
Yeah, he's monologuing, but he's sort of monologuing to Corvo, I think. He's like, I know that you're going to come for me. I know that, you might even already be here, and there's nothing I can do to stop you. And I give up. I have seen what you've done, and there's no way around it. I know you're going to, like, take me away or whatever, because you're no killer. And I just teleported behind him and choked him out, and then I lay him right in the middle of the table where Martin and Pendleton could see him, except they can't see him because he's dead. And then you pick up the key to where Emily is locked up in a little room and let her out, and she gives you a big hug.
Whoa.
Game over.
There's actually,
Whoa.
did you go upstairs
But
at
not
all
for
and
Matt.
and read the journal and the audio log or anything, Vanessa?
Oh, of course I did, Johnny, but, I
Okay.
don't want to get into everything that...
Did you go upstairs and pick up his
Havelock had to
body,
say.
his sleeping body, and then go all the way to the tippy top of the lighthouse and throw him off just to see what it would
What?
sound like?
Of course I wouldn't do that.
Just
What
to
are you
see how it
talking
would
about?
feel.
Yeah. I did
Hey,
that
Johnny, I've
after
got
finishing
good
the
news
game.
for you. I've got these tickets to a Lady Raven concert.
Ooh. Well, I'm definitely going to go.
Should.
They're whole.
but
I have to
Matt-
make them whole.
Matt, none of that happened for you, right? There was no special
No.
dinner party because you already
dinner
killed
party.
these two guys downstairs.
It was weird though. I got upstairs and nobody seemed to know what had happened downstairs, which I found a little. It stretched my credibility a little bit. Where I was like, I think you knew. I think you would have
Well-
heard all those explosions.
Maybe they thought it was just Martin and Pendleton shooting at each other.
Nobody bothered to radio up to the top of the tower and be like, "Hey, somebody's killing everyone."
There's no radio. There's only the broadcast announcements, and now it's 100% Lord Regent's diary hour.
Well, I got up to the top of the tower after killing everybody along the way, of course, and found not Lord Regent, Havelock, at the top of the tower with Emily, and he is ranting at her about how, I'm a power now, and whatever, psycho bullshit these types of people say, and then he does try to do a shove of her off of the lighthouse.
What?
Whoa.
Was it also rainy and stormy and dramatic?
It was very dramatic, and there was lightning and thunder, and then I teleported behind him and gave him the old stabberino. And once his body dissolved into ash, I grabbed Emily and pulled her up.
Oh, so she had, like, fallen over the edge. Wow.
She was holding on. She was holding on to the edge. And I did hear that there's like a higher chaos route where you actually can let her fall, but I didn't realize.
Good Lord.
Oh, God.
To be honest with you, that was an option. I'm not, you guys know me, I'm not a big kill the
you're
kid
not gonna
person,
kill a
so
kid.
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have done it either way, but I didn't realize. But either way, I pulled her up and I saved the day, and she didn't look traumatized at all. At all.
That was fun. I do
She did, I think, if I recall correctly, she did say, like, did you kill him? Good, I was going to have him killed.
I do like how different these endings are, down to the weather, because the weather when I did this was perfectly nice. It was a pleasant day.
Weird.
So I guess that's how powerful your actions can be. They change the
I don't
weather.
know. I don't like that, to be honest with you, because it's neat that there are differences, but I don't like that, like, the game is heavily implying that the world is a nicer place when you, like, sold a woman into fucking rape slavery.
Again with this rape slavery.
As long as you didn't personally kill her, it's fine.
We don't
Vanessa
know.
did send her achievement to the group while we were talking, and it says clean hands, and I would posit to false! False, madam! I would love for the listeners to weigh on this, because this is fucked. In my opinion, this is fucked up. My hands are cleaner.
I think you're making
I
a
gave
lot
these people
of assumptions.
honest deaths.
You're making assumptions about what happens to her after she goes on that boat ride.
I'm based on what the
Maybe
outsider says.
He takes her to a restaurant, asks for her consent, and she decides whether or not she wants to sleep with him.
Vanessa, I don't think
Yeah?
that's what happened.
Oh.
We know that's not what happened. Like, you know it, and you just don't want to admit it. Like, I should have gotten the clean hands. Clean and red, you know? Clean with the righteous depths of the monsters that deserved it. And not these, like, tortured endings for these poor fucking lost souls. You should have gotten the rainy ending. It should have been a beautiful day for me as I slit the Havelock's throat and pulled my bloody daughter off of the ledge.
Speaking of
So,
beautiful
Jim.
endings. Oh, sorry, Johnny.
Oh, it's just seeing what Jim did.
Oh, I rescued Emily. I got the good ending.
Did you set the Havelock on fire?
No, I shot him with the tranq dart, and then I think I mixed this up the last episode, but I shot him with the tranq dart and it didn't do anything, so I just shot him in the head. And then it was like, target assassinated.
Did you have the dinner party or the tower?
The tower.
Nice.
No. I don't believe it.
Yeah, because I remember walking up the outside of it, and there were just a bunch of guards looking away from you the entire... Like, they weren't even on a patrol. They were just looking away from you. So, it's like it wanted you to have a few last...
Right, but did you have to
kills,
kill
and
Pendleton and Martin, is the question.
I don't think so.
Were they dead at the table when you got there?
Yes, they were dead at
Okay.
the table, yes.
So you did have the dinner party.
Yeah.
Jim wasn't
Just
paying attention
like in
when
Mouth-
we called it a dinner party.
It was a very mouth-washing kind of dinner party.
It was a very mouth-washing kind of
like a
dinner
bed
party.
breath party.
Yeah.
So, we get our endings, and our endings are sort of a slideshow, but like a 3D model slideshow. And for me, of course, it said Corvo did a really good job of saving Emily and not killing anyone. Everybody really loves Emily. She's the best Empress ever. People call her Emily the Wise. She's so good. And when Corvo dies years later, she buries him next to her mother because he was always more than a bodyguard to her.
Wow. So in the sequel, he's definitely dead, right? Because
Yeah.
it showed him dead here.
Well, no, I mean, it just says when he dies. He does lots of other things before he
It
dies.
is actually, when it shows her, she is like old Emily. She's got like gray hairs and shit.
Yeah. And it also talks about how Piero and Sokolov work together to cure the rat plague.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. It's a glorious
like
new day for Dunwall.
I like how in the image that you get, it's Piero holding up like a Sokolov elixir, and then Sokolov force feeding someone a tonic down their throat that's strapped to a chair. That was pretty cool.
Anyway, you guys got the good ending. Human experimentation. Clean hands.
Yeah, Matt says
you
that
got the Nazi ending
is the bad ending, and people should be upset that they were forced by the government to take this medicine.
Oh no, she got me.
So, what was your ending like, Matt?
Bad. It was bad. It was like things were shitty in Dunwall, but this crazy bitch Emily was super fucking violent. Anyway, Corvo died eventually, and everything was shit. Bye.
I wish some games would end with the words "bye" just up on the screen. Bye. So that's the end of
Well,
Dishonored.
and one more question, Johnny. Where did you actually end off on this game? Did you even make it to Dodd?
Yeah.
I would say about halfway through the Dowd mission is when it was pretty clear that you had not played.
I don't know what you're talking about, buddy.
Yeah, I know you don't know what I'm talking about because you don't know about all the dead overseers. So how would you know what we're talking about? Mm-hmm. I don't think you can take the overseer. I don't think you can take Havelock's corpse to the top of the tower and throw it off. I think you made that up.
I have video of it.
Dang, he thought ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I have video. I have video of Batman and Harley Quinn fucking, but that doesn't mean it's in the game.
You do not have that. You have video of Nightwing and Harley Quinn fucking.
Shit, it's true.
I knew it.
And
I've
Batman
seen
is
the video.
watching. And jerking it.
He's jacking it, yeah.
I taught him everything he knows. So that's the end of Dishonored, except it's not, because we're playing next week. Next week we're playing the first Dishonored DLC, The Knife of Dunwall.
The Knife of Dunwall. What's that about?
I won't
Michael
say.
Madsen.
I want it to be a big surprise.
Michael Madsen.
What's he so mad at his son for?
Hot take, Michael Madsen, not pretty good voice actor, not a very good IRL actor.
Wow.
That's my hot take on Michael Madsen.
That is a pretty hot take. What's he been in? I can't even
Which
picture
Stephen
him.
King adaptation was he bad in that you're mad at him for?
God, he's gotta be at least be in one of those.
He really does.
He was in the Q's and Kill Bill, and he was pretty good in Reservoir Dogs, I guess.
I don't like that movie.
I've still never seen it.
watched that movie.
That's all right.
Everyone at film
Species?
school was obsessed with it.
Yeah, that's kicked off the indie movie boom of the 90s.
Let's have a look at his face. Oh, he's Mr. Bill himself, isn't he? No, he's not.
Yeah.
No, he's the other guy. He's in Kill Bill, but he's not Bill.
Yeah, he's the
Bill
the
died of
cowboy.
autoerotic asphyxiation in real life.
What?
I didn't want to
Oh,
remember
right.
that. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
I had forgotten about that entirely.
He was in Free Willy. Is that a Stephen King?
Yeah. It's a Cujo adaptation.
So, before we move on from this chunker entirely, let me ask you fellers something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start with Jim. Jim, what are you roundly for or squarely against?
I will say, this is where we talk about the game in general, right?
No, we
No.
gotta save that for
Okay.
final squarely against for the last episode. This is
final square thoughts. This is just about the chunker.
Yeah.
I guess I'm roundly for this chunker. It was a change of pace in that I felt like I had, and I know it's just because I'm bad at the game, but I felt like I had no choice but to be spotted every time I was trying to traverse the level. I got spotted so many times here. But I feel like it made me play the game a little bit differently than I had been, which was kind of fun. And I did enjoy the team up of Sokolov and Piero. Johnny, what are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against having to not have a happy ending where I marry the engineer guy, the master engineer from the tower.
What's his name?
I don't know if I think he's just called like
Larry?
Master Engineer. We could call him what's a hot name? Brick? Yeah. His name's Brick.
Jordan.
No. Brick or like
Carl.
Bubba. I don't know. You know, hot
Bubba.
Mike.
Oh, Bubba. What was the name that somebody gives their inbred child, Johnny?
That's what Johnny's into.
No. No.
Oh, again, I guess.
Johnny, how could you betray
Vanessa
us like this?
not very good at pointing out what John likes in men.
Matt,
Said
what
he
are
likes
you
it though.
squarely? That's not. No. What are you squarely against?
John
Matt?
said he likes to be bred, not inbred.
What? Square's canon. I'm a top. Come on, Matt. What are you squarely against?
I mean, is that Square Roots canon or is that just real life canon?
Well, you know.
There's no
Same
difference.
You die in square roots, you die in real life.
No, Matt. What are you squarely against?
I'll tell you what I'm squarely against, and it's being roundly for killing Dowd. Fuck that guy. Fuck him. And he deserved to die, and I felt very pleased having killed him. He set off what is clearly one of the most turbulent, terrible times in the history of this nation. And clearly he and his magic assassins were the only people that could have done it because Corvo was awesome. So,
You know, if you think about it, by Vanessa's logic, Dowd's hands are clean because him killing the Empress resulted in a cure for the rat plague. So maybe Dowd got the good ending.
yeah, I mean, that's basically Christianity, where it's like, yeah, no matter how bad of a thing that I do, I'm forgiven. Everything's fine. All I have to do is say some words, and I'm good to
Not
go.
what I actually.
I'll literally
didn't
vote for the Antichrist. Anyway,
This is slander. I didn't forgive Dowd. I stole his little pocketbook.
that's just nothing. It felt good, and I was happy to murder that motherfucker Dowd. Jim, I believe, are you the last one? No, you passed it to me. Is
Nope,
it Vanessa?
is.
I'm roundly for darling little good girl endings where you don't have to fight the final boss, and he's just
Where
like,
the game lies to you and tells you that your hands are clean?
yeah, where the boss is just like, wow, I would love to have like a final boss fight, but you're just too darling and good of a little good girl for me to battle, and so I went ahead and I just killed the bad guys for you, and I surrender because of your kind heart. I love it. I love that kind of stuff. Makes me feel so good about myself. If I can't be a good person in real life, at least I can do it in a video game. Am I right, boys?
You're right, Vanessa.
Where am I? What's happening?
So,
There was a World Series Grand Slam tonight.
Oh shit, is the
That's
game
wild.
over? Shut up. I gotta look. Don't tell me. Don't spoil it for me. Hang on.
drum roll.
Who hit the grand slam? Oh, fucking Yankees.
Yeah.
The series continues.
Anthony Volpe.
Volpe.
Matt, what's your favorite moment in baseball?
Ball.
Crying. Say crying, Matt.
No, we're not talking about baseball. We are talking about what we are leveling up about.
Oh, that's right. It's time for level up.
I did really want the Yankees to get swept, so I'm pretty bummed out by what I just learned.
A real fan would be happy there's more World Series to go.
No, a real fan hates the Yankees and wants them to get swept in the World Series. So, Vanessa.
Yeah.
It's about that time in the evening where we discuss how we leveled up, and I would like to ask you to kick us off and tell us how you leveled up.
Me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I watched a film that Jim had semi-recommended called Woman of the Hour. This is on Netflix. It was directed by Anna Kendrick. And it's about a true story of a time a bona fide serial killer made his way onto the dating game in the 1970s as a contestant.
Well,
I remember seeing he looked
Like, not even
creepy. I've seen footage of that
not
guy.
not even like a serial. I think to be designated a serial killer, it needs to be at least 3 people, maybe. This guy killed potentially over 100.
Are you
people.
serious?
He was.
Oh my god.
Yeah, incredibly prolific serial killer.
And worse than that, which they actually didn't even address in the film. I mean, at the time he appeared on the show, he was already had been convicted of certain heinous crimes, and they just didn't bother doing a national background check for this kind of thing because
they kind of show that in the film where they basically just like pull these people off the streets and be like, you want to be on the dating game?
Mm-hmm. It still happens from time to time where a contestant
time
will be
frame?
on the show.
when did this happen?
In
I
the
think
late
yeah,
70s?
79 maybe.
Oh, yeah. That was the fucking Wild West, basically.
I watched it with Vanessa's mom, and she felt that it was pretty accurate as to what it kind of felt like to be in the 70s, and especially to be a woman in the 70s. It had
What is this called again? Woman of the Hour?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
It had a lot of sort of a reoccurring nightmare thing that I get, where I have dreams where I either, like, am trying to call 911 and can't, or just that people won't listen to me about something that is happening. You know? Like, I know something bad is going on, and I'm trying to convince people of it, and they don't listen. And it turns out that fear is based on real life misogyny. Yay!
That's why Vanessa won't hang out with me one-on-one in person. I get it now.
She will, but you have to
Because
be in that Silence of the Lambs cart with the mask and everything.
Or like behind the plexiglass.
Yeah, or behind the plexiglass.
You come in here, Vanessa, with your cheap shoes.
Sometimes, well, Chanel number 5. Not today. So, I thought that was pretty good.
Run all the way to Dragon Age Veil Guide.
I also, I listened to a podcast. We don't usually talk about other more successful podcasts on the show.
I was going to
because
talk
we're
about a podcast
jealous,
too.
petty people. But this podcast was very special because there used to be a tradition where once a year, right around Halloween time, the podcast Comedy Bang Bang would do a very special episode called Comedy Fang Fang, where they would speak to...
Do the mash.
Yep. They would talk to a couple of ghosts.
That got less funny every year.
That never stopped being funny. They talked to the composer of the Monster Mash, and he performs it with his original lyrics, and they stopped doing it like 8 years ago, maybe. They just like were over it or something like that. But it's back in full form.
Whoa, Comedy Fang Fang?
Comedy Fang Fang. It came back this year, complete with a new version of the Monster Mash. It was amazing. If you were a
Bet I
fan
know
of the
how it
old
went.
ones... No, this one will blow you away. It's worth listening to the episode. just to hear this new updated version of the Monster Mash. I don't even want to say anything about it because I don't want to spoil anything. So that was a delight to hear that come back. And then this very evening, as we record, right before Halloween, I had a very spooky experience.
Ooh. Tell us more.
Let me begin. So I've lived in this house that I am currently in since 2017. So it's been a while, you know. You would think that I
Been a while.
would be used to every sort of aspect of it. But tonight, there was a big pot of spaghetti boiling in the kitchen on the oven. And the fan above the oven turned on by itself.
Whoa! Does it have some kind of sensor or something?
I guess
No, that
so,
sounds like
but
a
I
ghost.
No,
The
no,
ghost
'cause
of
then
a chef.
I heard
You
it.
have an Italian chef goes and said, "Mamma mia! I gotta turn the vent on."
I went in there, could not turn it off. I could set it to high or back to low again, but when I set it off, would not turn off.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds like
did
a
you
ghost
try-
and not an electrical issue
Did
that you
you-
should get investigated.
Yeah, that or there's
immediately.
a built-in carbon monoxide detector and you were close to death.
Vanessa, I have a few questions for you. One,
Yeah.
did you use the UV light on the fan controls?
No. Oh, I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Number two, did you use dots in the room and turn out the lights?
No, I just tried to turn off the fan and then it wouldn't
Number
turn
three.
off. So I was like,
Did you get an
Yeah.
old radio in and then start asking it questions?
the Alexa was in there. Well, actually, the Alexa's in the dining room next to the kitchen. So
Well, that's not the same
No.
room. You know that it doesn't work in the next room over.
yeah, no. What I tried to do was turn off the fan. It wouldn't turn off. I was like, well, I guess there's an auto feature that's never gone off within 7 years of cooking in here and making steamy steaks and all kinds of things. And then eventually the fan went off. The end.
Wow, what a spooky experience.
Wow.
It was a very spooky experience. I mean, imagine being in your living room and hearing the fan in the kitchen and being like, what is that? And then you go and you realize it's the fan, and then you're like, wow, I guess it has an auto feature I never knew about. Oh well. It was spooky! That's my Halloween story. I also went to a plant nursery and got a pumpkin today to carve up before Halloween. I know it's pretty close, but we have a lot of squirrels in this neighborhood, and they do love to chomp on little pumps. I have 3 mini pumpkins on the porch at the moment, and one of them did get a good chomping from a squirrel. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot my most important level up. I was on a walk around my neighborhood, and I saw a squirrel run across my path with a full mini pumpkin in her mouth. She just had the whole thing, and then she went up a tree right next to me, and I was so happy she stopped at the lowest branch and was just looking at me with the mini pumpkin in her mouth, and I got a couple of really good pictures of her. It was delightful. And in fact, I saw on the Reddit group for my neighborhood, people asking, why are the squirrels eating so many pumpkins this year? Nobody knows. That's how I leveled up. Jim, how did you level up?
I just last night watched, as part of my spooky time movie viewing, decided to check out a Stephen King adaptation I'd never seen before called The Dark Half, which is also based on one of his books that I've never read. And wow, what a great movie.
Whoa.
I thought it was fun and scary, and the final, the third act, at the end of the third act is one of the coolest bits of practical effects I can think of from a Stephen King film. It's super corny and kind of stupid, but also it really works.
That
And,
1993's
they really
The Dark
went for it.
Half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, starring Timothy Hutton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, check that out. It is wonderful. It is a great movie. And And I've also been playing Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
Whoa, did you play Space Marine 1?
I've played like the first half of Space Marine 1.
Wow.
I have it on my Steam Deck, but I haven't finished it. Space Marine 2 is great. It's such a fun game to play with a friend. It's like a squad shooter. You can play with up to like 2 other people, so you have like a squad of 3. I've been playing it with my friend Robert, and it is way fun. And like the amount of enemies that they manage to put on the screen at one time, like you can be fighting like hundreds of Tyranids at one time. It is pretty neat, and the gameplay is really fun. The melee is super cool. The gunplay is really well calibrated. What a fun game! And it's kind of gotten me curious about 40k lore, which is a rabbit hole that I probably shouldn't go down.
Oh, you love
'cause
that
it'll
kind
be
of
a
thing,
time suck.
though.
Yeah, it's super cool. And man, the graphics in the game are just insane. Like it looks so good. That's how I leveled up. Matt, how did you level up?
Whoa, I watched the hottest new movie on the internet. It was called Trap. I know that none of you have seen Trap, and so you don't know what
never
I'm
heard
talking
of it.
about. You've never heard of it?
I
Yeah.
really want to watch it.
It's
So
the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, and it stars Josh Hutcherson?
Hartnett.
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 And it's you know what? It's fun. Like
And
I
Allison
kind of,
Pill.
That's a spoiler, Johnny.
Not really.
yeah, I haven't seen it, Johnny.
How is that a spoiler?
It's a huge spoiler.
Okay.
And it's the new M. Night Shyamalan. It also stars his daughter as the pop star Lady Raven. And it's a weird one where, like, I don't think that it's a very good movie, but, like, I think I liked it. You know what I mean? Like, it honestly took me a couple of days to sit on it and come around on it in some ways. M. Night Shyamalan continues to no longer know how to write any sort of dialogue that humans would speak. Like, I don't, like, what are his conversations like? It must be bizarre. But it was a fun movie, and it's got a real goofy premise, which the trailer certainly gave away, which is that a serial killer has taken his daughter to a concert, and the police are there and looking for him, but they don't know who he is. So overall, I think I really liked it. It's fun, and it's well worth a watch. I wouldn't call it super good, but that's okay. I don't remember if I talked about Bone Tomahawk last week, but if I didn't, it was fucking amazing. This is my Matt's Horror Watch for Halloween 24, which, by the way, is up to 60 fucking movies that I've watched this week, which is insane. I'm almost embarrassed to admit that. Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell is more of a Western than a horror movie. Has some real fucking gnarly scenes, but overall it's just a phenomenal, well-paced, well-acted movie. And let's see. And The Invisible Man, the new one with Elizabeth Moss, I watched today, and I thought it was phenomenal. I had a couple of complaints. It felt a little toothless in some ways. So there were a few things that just didn't really make sense to me. And not in like I feel like not in a way like where I just didn't get it, but in a way where it was like, why did that happen? It didn't make sense. But
That the guy that directed that is doing the new Wolfman movie, so makes me a little more optimistic. About
it was certainly good. It uses kind of modern relationship terms, let's say, to kind of reevaluate this classic premise, and was great. It looked amazing. It had fantastic acting, fantastic use of themes. Overall, I thought it was really great, and The Invisible Man, fantastic. I did watch some crap. Jim kept talking about how much he liked Dawn of the Dead, the new one by Zack Snyder. What a fucking stinker. What a shitty movie.
You know what? You're right. It's a stinker, but it's also Zack Snyder's best movie.
300's pretty good, actually, and I like a lot of his other stuff. I have been watching The Haunting, which is like a 1999 remake of House on Haunted Hill, which is really fun. I watched Child's Play 2 and 3 because Jim said they were so good, and I thought they were terrible. I think that...
No, Child's Play 3 is bad. Child's Play 2 is good.
Yeah, I think that Child's Play 3 was the better of the two.
Were they in the military school?
Yeah, it's terrible. They're all terrible. I will say the one that I had to reevaluate was Drag Me to Hell, the Sam Raimi horror movie that had a lot of Sam Raimi gross out moments and like had some fun moments, but I remember liking that movie, and when I rewatched it I was like, what the, it kind of sucked actually. I was kind of bummed out by that.
When did
and
he
last
make
on the
that?
list,
Was that like post Spider-Man?
yeah, for sure, post
Yeah.
Spider-Man. And last on the list, I rewatched Smile, which is a fucking great horror movie, no doubt. But I have to say, like, I think that it's not the only movie that I've watched this month, but also in general, that is just kind of about this, like, malevolent force that is unexplained, and the movie just can't be bothered to, like, get into in any way, other than the main character being like, what are you? And having seen a few of those recently, I gotta say, I think I'm tired of that, like, concept. Like, a neat idea, and Smile is great. And if you haven't seen Smile and you're into horror movies, watch Smile. Smile fucking rocks. But at the same time, like, how many movies are we going to do like this where it's just like, there's, like, It Follows is very similar, where it's like, what's this? We don't know. We're not going to get into it.
I would rather that than it be like Satan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
I would
It
rather
Follows
them
was,
try to... Go ahead.
It Follows was more of like a direct metaphor, I would say.
I mean, Smile's a pretty
So
direct
is
metaphor.
Smile. It's a metaphor for trauma.
I guess
is what it
that's
is.
true.
It's interesting because I like, overall I like the concept of, like, we've done a lot of movies, 80s and 90s, like horror movies that over explore their, monsters to the point that it's like it kind of ruins it, right? Like Jason is a death djinn or whatever the fuck he is. And, like,
I
a lot
think
of that
so is
stuff gets
Freddy.
real dumb.
Yeah, one of the things that bugs me about a lot of horror movies is that they all operate on the assumption that the Catholics are right about everything. Like, it's always Catholicism.
I liked Smile a lot. I think it's fantastic. But I do, having seen a few of these, like, now, I think it's become like a new trend where it's almost feels lazy, where it's like, well, we've got this terrifying thing, but, like, we can't be bothered to come up with anything for it. Like, it just is a thing. And, like, that's neat once or twice, but it's not great over multiple movies, because it gets tired, and it's like, give me some fucking lore. I mean, Jim, you're the lore king.
Yeah, but, like, I like reading about lore, but, like, when it comes to scary movies, like, I feel like if they were like, this is a Sumerian demon or
Yeah.
whatever, like what they did in Sinister, like that didn't make it scarier. Not explaining it makes it at least, like, not less scary.
I think there's a fine line where, like, they can know things, and you as the audience can know things, and not just movie after movie where it's like, well, we'll never know. I mean, Smile 2 just came out, and I'm excited to see it, and it sounds like it's good, and it looks like it's good, but I feel like they will not touch on what the actual, monster is in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Even movies like The Grudge, which were very similar in that they were just these, like, unexplainable, understandable forces, to some degree were like, well, sometimes a ghost somebody dies traumatically and their ghost stays behind and kills people. Like, at least you had something to latch on to. And I do kind of feel like we've lost that a bit. But then I watched The Invisible Man, and that was amazing. So, movies are good. Johnny, how did you level up?
Well, I have listened to. I want to talk about a podcast as well, because maybe my favorite episode now of the Neighborhood Listen aired. It's about where have all the birds gone. Someone who makes a post like, "Where are the birds? There used to be birds. What happened to all the birds?" And that was a real next door post, and they improv this. And that episode's so good. I don't want to give anything away, but if you like Paul F. Tompkins and was it Natalie Parker, I would check it out. They're really fun. I've been listening to their bonus episodes. They have the one a month, and they're really good. They've had 2 now where they play the nemesises of the characters on that podcast, and that's really fun. Vanessa was kind of I don't know why Vanessa was kind of sounding a little drunk earlier, and was sounding very much like the evil version of Natalie Parker.
I'm not drunk.
She is sort of like this the whole time. Anyway, so that's really good.
Drunk.
And continuing to use Alarmo, definitely recommend it.
Other than when it fails you.
Except when okay, but that's not okay. If you set the alarm on this one, if you change the time that the alarm's going to go off, on a cell phone that will turn on the alarm, but not on Alarmo for some reason. I don't know why. So just something to watch out for, Alarmo wise. And yeah, otherwise been watching Simpsons and Taskmaster. Nothing super exciting. Taskmaster did
Taskmaster
have my favorite task. My favorite task this season is get Robert the robot charged. That's definitely the best task this season. A very good one. Anyway, that's it. I worked a lot.
Sweet. Well, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. But before we sign off, I'd like to remind everyone that we do have a Patreon. We do have a vote live right now. If you would like to be able to contribute to that vote, you can subscribe at the $5 tier. Subscribing at the $3 tier doesn't let you vote, but it does give you access to all the great bonus content that we have on our Patreon. You can check it out and subscribe at patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. Another thing we like to do, no matter what tier you subscribe at, is to personally thank some of our patrons. At the end of every episode, I'm going to kick us off this week by thanking Gage Lacharite, Joshua W. Broxson, Aaron Vanessa versus the Empire Brain Building Little, Brian Hassel, Sergeant Spaghetti, Hayden Neff, Ron, Florian Jonas Kramer, Ari Corpivara, and Arthur A.
I'd like to thank Nofford, Rubber Bear, Chris Parsons, Jamie Black, Bree Girth, Amanda Pyers, Jaybird, Julie, Seth G, and John Scala.
Vanessa?
I'd like to thank Eduardo Franco, Lexa Varial, Wishbone is Gay, Chris Suzuki, Nick, Magpie Juju, really real Seattle Sounders are hosting the Club World Cup in 2025. Yeah, I'm really real sure that they are. Keysby Knight, Ian Frederick, and Brian Pitt.
Vanessa shook her head and rolled her eyes when she said that, too. I'd like to thank Worked Muffin, Anthony Cruz, Butts on Parade, William Westcard, Jason Timms, Omaha Zookeeper, Thank God for the Power of Andraste, Stephen Paget, Justin Ham, and DJ The Dong. Oh!
All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to have read on the air, our email address is squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come join our Facebook group, which is the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or find us on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social.
Thanks for reviewing. I love it when you guys review. Leave us all those hot, juicy reviews. And thanks to Stephen Morris for our theme. It's very good.
All right, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.